What up, everyone? You're watching Profiles and Drive. Emeroy here. Got another amazing guest for you. I've been actually trying to get him for a while since this whole thing started, but unfortunately the original times I was trying to get him booked, he had rehearsals, but now we're filming on a different day, made it work, made it happen, and now he's here in studios with us, here to share with you his message, his story, and what he's all about, what drives him to do what he does, and hopefully to help inspire you to find your own inner drive as well. So without anything else, Marc Miranda, one of my closest friends and co-founder of Family Business, our crew, and you know what? Lets people know who you are.
Hi everyone, my name is Marc Miranda. Yeah, I think the whole thing about this, I've been dancing for a long time. I've definitely lived like a crazy life. I can definitely say I'm one of the people who's like had to learn the hard way in life, but everything has been a good process and it's been a fun journey, especially knowing this guy. I've known him for so long, so it's crazy even being on this talk right now.
Yeah,
this interview.
Never in my life or our life, but I would never, probably would have been doing an interview thing, but
for real,
the moment called for it. But yeah, tell what have you been doing so far in terms of your dancing or your passions and everything?
A lot. I think now in 2014, the thing I've been doing so much has been dancing with a lot of crews, a lot of teams. The teams I'm actually currently dancing for is under the Maker Empire. I dance for Baby Makers. I do direct Family Business. Co-founder actually with this guy, a couple of close homies as well. Big ups to them because that's history no matter what. And I am the founder of Junior Hit List. So that's actually the sweater I'm wearing right now. So those are my kids. They're like my life. And I'm teaching at JV Dance Center, which is in Alhambra. So I'm definitely living life there. Like it's my everything. My kids are my everything, and I think when it comes to the future, that's my main goal, is just to lead the future and just guide as much people as I can to a better lifestyle, especially if you have like hardships and depending on where you come from. So definitely would just want to be a good example and just live life as much as and just have fun.
We were there growing up, but how did you get into your whole passion about dancing? What got you into it?
I think, not passion-wise, but I think the first time I've been inspired or introduced to like at least a dance routine, like a dance team, was Glendale High School. They did a performance. I was in 7th grade. I went to Roosevelt Middle School, and then he went there too. I had a bunch of homies. I went there, but Glendale High, small all male, went to go perform there, and they were treated like celebrities. They got on stage, performed. They were wearing all white and trench coats, I believe trench coats.
Oh, that routine.
And I remember just being like at awe watching them perform and just thinking like, oh my God, these are like the most amazing dancers in my entire life. And not even thinking about it, like they're just high school students, just having fun doing what they like to do and going to competitions, like the things I do till this day. So that definitely was something when I was first introduced to dance, other than like 90s, seeing my brother and sister like pop and do cheerleading and different types of dance. But at least for like the community and the industry I'm in right now, definitely like that. My first thing was probably Glendale, all male.
Gotcha. So dancing was huge in your family, right?
Kind of, sort of. My sister was a cheerleader, and my brother was a popper. I think he was good, but I think I'm better now.
Yeah, the whole idea of when we were younger, we think everyone that's older than us is like bomb.
Oh yeah, of course. It's like example. They pave the pathway for us. So yeah. It's definitely something. If you're a hungry dancer, something to like look forward to. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you said you saw Glendale all male. You joined them, but once you entered high school, right?
Actually, the funny thing in high school was I really wanted to do football with your brother, Eric. He really wanted me to do football, and I was actually really gung ho. And another close homie, his name was Bernardo. They wanted me to do football, and I really wanted to. I wanted to play sports, and then I had a cousin. Her name is Doris. She asked me to come with her to go grab something from her coach, and I was introduced to my coach for the very first time. And the crazy thing was that she sat me down, she gave me a paper and was like, fill this out. And I was kind of just confused, like, okay, like intimidated by like how like powerful she was, I guess, at the time. And then I filled it out, and it was like dance experience and everything like that. And I had no dance experience other than watching like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and Harlem Shakes and Crip Walking and stuff like that. So I mean, if you can consider that dancing at the time, and which it was huge.
Yeah,
but
it was.
as far as like for me, like experience, no experience. I gave back that paper, and she was like, "You have rehearsal on Monday at 2:30. I'll see you there." And smiled at me. And I was just with the paper and just like, all right. And I walked out with my cousin. I was like, I think I have practice next Monday at 2:30. Confused. And then it definitely changed my life. So it was a crazy approach. Didn't know what I was getting myself into, but worth it till this day because it's my career now. And I love what I do.
Yeah. What were the? I guess it sort of like was more like handed to you what your path was, even though you weren't too sure at the time, right?
Yeah, it all kind of worked. It all kind of worked out. I mean, I did go to a continuation school where like I needed to like fix my life, but it was easy because they kind of just guided me of what I should be doing. I found my niche, and without even knowing it.
That's good. Like, a lot of people have a hard time even finding that, even to this day, as some adults are still trying to figure out. Like even out of college, it's like some people go to college, get the degree, but still don't know what the hell they want to do with their life.
Agreed. I mean, I might not be like in their shoes at the moment, but I can definitely feel for them, and it'd be the same way. I think there's a lot of things I want to accomplish in our lives. We want to accomplish, but definitely finding what we love to do is one thing. So if you find what you love to do, hold on to it. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, definitely hold on to it. Because I remember, for me, I know I had some doubts in dancing, and then when it was particularly in college, I remember, I told everyone I was gonna do both dancing and animation, and everyone was like, "How are you gonna do that? Like, why not? Like, you're gonna do, you gotta be one or the other." It's like, why not be both? Like, why not enjoy life the way you want it? Not just be conform to what's been, I guess, given to us in a silver platter, like what's supposed to be.
Honestly, I can actually remember all that, your phases of going through all that. I definitely do remember your whole process, the whole struggle of everything you're doing, and how much effort you had to put in, especially like how proud you were when you were talking about your graduation. And I just remember I was like, man, I can't believe you're actually doing it, and you actually did it, and you still made time to manage life, friends, and school, and that's pretty hard. So I mean, I commend you for that. So definitely, if that's like what it is, if you love something, why let it go? You can be versatile in your life, other than just different styles of dance or different styles of whatever art form you like to do.
Yeah. I think that's the struggle, or I'm gonna say with the struggle. Some people, we get overly invested in one area in our life, we forget about everything else.
Oh yeah.
Like some people we know, like mainly it's work. I'm too busy to hang out or go out tonight because I got work in the morning, or I'm too busy to do this, or I'm too busy to even hang out. For those who are parents, and I'm a parent, like I'm too busy right now because I'm working on this project that's huge and it's got a deadline, and I have no time to I have no time to hang out with family. So it's like being overly invested. It's like it's not so much balance can be achieved, but like I think it's a balancing act of being able to take care of everything. Because like I learned the hard way last year. I told you about what happened. Like if because I was too focused on work and I lost sight of my family. And you know where that took me.
Of course.
Yeah. So and like, man, that was tough. And it's like things are better now. It's like I think that like I think crises maybe are supposed to be. I guess supposed to be the whole the balancing of everything, because it's good, because the whole whatever what happened, like I was so bad, but it just balanced everything out. Like, throughout your journey, like what were the struggles or doubts that you went through?
I went through a lot. I think cream is is definitely a huge part of it. Cash rules everything around me, like literally. So, I mean, that's always gonna be a struggle. But I mean, if you love something, it'll just come back to you. Like pay it forward, it's just gonna come back to you. Especially if you're doing it for all the right reasons. Struggle like support is always gonna be a hard one. There's always gonna be people that's gonna doubt your artwork, and there's always gonna be just yourself. I think yourself is the biggest thing too. Is like if you're mentally prepared to do what you really want to do, or if you still love what you do. And I think I go through that not every day so much now, but it's definitely a thought that does go through my mind. Like, what if I stop dancing? What if I do give up? And when I think about all the times I do want to give up, I think about all the good things that's around me and all the people that's helped me and everyone that's said good things about me or like helped me get to where I am at till this day. It kind of just, it's a wake up call. So it definitely gets me through my struggle. And I think a lot of prayer helps a lot too with me. Meditating helps a lot too, because it's like I already know what my goal is. It's just you have your good days and you have your bad days, and it's what are you gonna do on your bad day to make it a good day, if not your great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean, it's just a part of life, I guess, but definitely staying optimistic and staying true to what you believe in, it definitely helps.
Yeah. So because one takeaway I got from that is that you said that, well, from the message I got, it sounds like you got said that even though you're living your passion, there are going to be days, or just because we're living our passion doesn't mean we're going to be in endless bliss. Oh, I'm living my passion. I'm like, I'm happy every day. Far from it. It's like, once we're living our passion, it's like we're going to love it, and there's going to be days where we doubt it. And then what it sounds like is that you said you're always grateful. Like the moments where you're doubting is when you're grateful, and that's what sort of helps ground you, right?
Yes, definitely. It helps me stay grounded, especially like the people around me, and especially recently, I really feel like I'm surrounded by so many good people. Not even just talent-wise, but just good, genuine people. And I think like who you surround yourself with is important.
Yeah,
That's huge in life. So.
Yeah, and the whole saying like you're a reflection of the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Yes, agreed. Definitely agreed.
Yeah. One thing I think I heard you say, like, how do you deal with when, like, okay, of course there's the self-doubt, right? And how do you deal with haters? How do people with critics?
I do my best not to think about it. There's nothing else I can really do about it other than just humble myself and perfect my own art. I mean, as a dancer, I love what I do, and it's just I feel like I can express myself in any way because there's music. There's such a wide range of artists to select from that I can get my emotion out, but definitely like just staying on my A game and everything that I do and everything that I feel like I'm blessed with. Like I feel like I'm doing a lot of good things right now in my life that I don't need to worry about haters. I don't need to worry about that stuff because no matter what, it's gonna come and go. You're gonna get people that love you. You're gonna get people that hate you. But if you're in the end, if you're still talking about me, then I'm doing something right.
Yep. That's right there. Well, going from high school, high school to your high school dance life, like what was that like? Because you're not everyone who knows you or who does know you knows that you were like a course captain. But what was transitioning from I guess going back there, like what what was it like the first time when you became responsible or a leader? Because I was there to witness you, like you were a freshman when I met you, and not when I met you, but when we were in the team together. But then it was already immediate. Everyone's projecting that you were going to be a captain and a leader, and it still followed you to this day, like that you're going to be a sort of leader and a captain, even though at that moment it was like, okay, like maybe not, maybe not. But what was it like when you finally took on that helm of leadership?
Honestly, one thing that feels good to hear, like, I think I get just so caught up in like doing what I feel like is the right thing to do, especially for what I want to do. So you saying this right now, like a lot of people are talking about, like this is meant for me. It's cool. It's like if people can see that within me, and I've never noticed before, then it just gives me more belief, like just to keep going. It gives me more hope. So that's awesome. So thank you for mentioning that. So my transitioning, the first day, okay, this is crazy. Like I remember when I first became CIT, captain in training, I had no idea that was coming towards me. We were getting ready for our review. This was in 2004. I remember sitting in the back, like sitting all the way in the back of the auditorium, and then we were just having a team talk. And I was so tired from like the practice that I was just not paying attention anymore to what was happening. And I remember when they first called my name for CIT, everyone was clapping like, oh, yay. And I remember everyone like sitting in front of my coach just turning around and looking at me and clapping. And I was just confused, and I started clapping too, like, yay. Like, just really confused. And then everyone's like, what are you doing? Like, go up there. I was like, what? So they made me go up there, and then when they explained it to me, I was just like, oh, cool, I'm getting something, CIT. And then everyone was like clapping, like, are you excited? I was like, yeah, I'm excited. And then kind of just speaking just to get words out of my mouth. Like, I had no idea what I was talking about at that moment. As soon as I had walked out the auditorium, practice was over, get our stuff ready, I had to ask one of the captain. I was like, what does this hat mean? Because we got a hat. And I was like, what does CIT mean? She's like, captain in training, you dummy. Her name was Maureen at the time. Well, at the time, her name was Maureen. But during that time, that's when she had mentioned it to me. And then I was just like, oh my gosh, really? This is real? Like, this is what's really happening to me? So definitely I was caught by surprise after. I mean, of course I wasn't going to ask during. I was just like, what's going on? But that was definitely a funny moment. But I can remember the first time I had called in a tent hut. It was, okay, I remember getting ready for banquet when, what were we doing? Oh, it's for the seniors. We were getting ready for the banquet. We, underclassmen, decided to do a routine for the seniors. The seniors I was graduating, and the next captain, John Pham, he was supposed to be our head captain the next season. So we wanted to do a surprise routine. And I remember being in charge of it, and we went to the quad, middle of like JHS, to go rehearse, and then I was in charge of it. My coach had made me in charge of it for the first time. So I remember all the boys getting there, and then I was like trying to teach my choreography, and then I remember saying my first attend hut, and all the boys did their attend hut, and everyone stopped and was just in shock, and then everyone's like, whoa, like you really just called that right now.
Yeah, if you didn't know, that's a normal, as far as I know, is normal for a lot of dance drill teams. So that's a attend hut. I think
it's basically how we get our attention.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's basically what I did. And at that moment, I still remember that moment. As like, it wasn't as big of a deal, but I remember saying it that my first time. And I think that's definitely where I was like, I think now I'm finally in my position, and it's time to do work. And it's something I still remember to this day. Like, I remember just everyone's face and reaction. So I think that's my first time dealing with that. So it was definitely something to be very nervous about. I'm like, these are my friends, these are my peers, and I'm gonna be in charge of them. And it's like, the one thing is, you never want to lose that friendship, that bond, just because you have some type of title.
Yeah. So that's tough. Well, first off, I remember that day, and when you called him, like, he said it.
I remember a bunch of our like homies, like till this day, just like, they're just like, whoa. cracked up a little bit, and then it was just like, okay, but that was kind of serious.
Because you're a freshman, and then a couple other people that were like older than, like, I was a junior, and like, and that you having that, I guess, authority, and then just using it like that, like, whoa. But it showed that we had a lot of respect for you, though.
It definitely felt like that. It really, really did. And a lot of my friends that were on it, like, I definitely grown like some bonds. And actually, I can actually say a lot of them are my friends till this very, very day. And some of them have children. Some of them are getting married. Some of them I kick it. I'm probably gonna hang out with tonight. Like, it's just, it definitely grew that bond. So getting that sense of respect, and I can break the barrier of being a leader and being a homie at the same time, it's nice. Because I feel like a lot of leaders lose that respect sometimes and not knowing how to balance it. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but it definitely helped, and it was nice.
Yeah, that I think was one of the tough challenges that we faced a lot in growing fan biz. Is like that balance between being a leader and then being a friend. Like, how did you do it?
I think I'm learning till this day. I think that what really, really taught me the most is directing junior teams. I think that's definitely what taught me, really knowing how to set your boundaries between friendship and leader.
Or
because
more like work or business.
And
so
yeah, definitely. And I think that's what it taught me the most. And now that I've like gotten older, I feel like the best thing, especially in my career right now where I am dancing, I feel like the best way to really break that bond is just leading through example. We can be friends, but as a leader, I want to make sure I'm on top of my choreography, and I'm not just doing it just cause. I'm doing it with purpose. And I think my biggest thing this year at least is being a better example. And that just goes monkey see, monkey do, and I feel like that's what's gonna help being a leader, making that boundary. Yeah. Like, we can be friends at one time, I can be cool with you. When it comes down to actually being a leader and being in charge of you, is really, really just being comfortable and trusting everything you do and following through. Following through is probably like the key thing of what you're gonna do as a leader. If you're gonna say you're gonna do it, then do it.
Yeah, because otherwise people are gonna have to think it's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, it tends to happen. And me as a dancer, me being a dancer and a leader and going on different teams, and you definitely get to see different sides of directors. And everyone's really, really good as a leader. They all lead their own way, and there's no wrong and there's really, really no right. It's just what you like.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go to that person to dance under, it's really, really what you like. But for me, my whole philosophy about being a leader is just you gotta understand your dancers, and I think really getting on a personal level, other than just being a leader, it definitely helps. Because I mean, I everything I do, I feel like I just wanna make it bigger, and add on to what I like to call my dance family, which is actually my kind of like really my family. So
yeah, because it's being able to connect with them on a personal level. I mean, when I was first leading fan biz, I was like a dictator and they hated me. And then you were there, and I'd be such a hot-headed leader, and you'd be the only one laughing because you're one of the founders. You can do whatever you want.
Oh my God, it'd be crazy. We've had some wild moments, especially and we were young. This was in 2004. We had no idea what we were doing, but when we first started leading, and I remember I did have those moments. I mean, I have my moments where I'm a little rebellious, and I can mess around a lot. So definitely I'm I'm gonna pull the homie card. You can't get mad at me. I'm a founder, and I like to mess around a lot. But then again, a lot of it too is because during those times is where point being, you just had to know your choreography, and it just makes life easier, especially if you want to commit to a show. Just know your choreography. That's all we ask.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I feel like I can do whatever I want and give myself leeway, because I made shows on top of my choreography. So if you needed to watch me, you needed help, I would help you. But at the same time, well, he's not yelling at me because I know my stuff. But
That's
I mean,
true.
everyone learns at their own way.
Yeah.
It's a process no matter what.
Yeah.
And we're growing.
Yeah.
And it definitely molded us into people we are today.
Yeah,
So.
that's how I learned the hard way in terms of not everyone likes to be yelled at, and I completely shifted my leadership style from then to like a more spiritual sort of leadership. Where
You are correct. I can vouch you for that. More spiritual, which I like. I love it. I love the transformation, and it's good. It shows growth. So
yeah, but how about the people? Even though they may not like, some people may not understand the whole fine line between business and friendship, like, because I gotta admit, some of our friends, like, the whole thing started off as friends. That's why we're a whole dance family. But some of them like sort of fell off the long way. Not because like we hated each other, but like there are misunderstandings at one point. Like some people like were at rehearsal one day and they're all chilling, and then all of a sudden we can be on them like, get it done, and they'll be like, dude. Some people might take it personally. How do you deal with that?
I think at least in our case, when we first started, we definitely just started off as friends. And the more serious we wanted to get in the dance scene, especially entering in competitions, we kind of had to put our foot down. Mm-hmm. And it is really, really hard to do that with a bunch of friends that you grew up with, and people are gonna take it personally, and I can't say it's necessarily our fault because we're learning too. It's all a journey because a team, it only takes one person to start a team, but for a team to keep going, it needs to work as a team.
Yeah.
And I think during that time, we just didn't know how to approach our dancers the best way. Some of them can take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
A lot of them understood where we're coming from, because I mean, a lot of things we did was coming from the heart, and we're coming from a good place. We might have approached it like not the best way. We might have delivered it like not in the best way, but deep down we're coming from a good place. And I think at least in that time in our lives, it got a little fishy, just because emotions get heavy, and we're not just dealing with high school kids anymore. It's like we're adults, and you can't talk to certain people a certain way.
Yeah.
When you're working on a project and you're just having fun with your friends, like, you don't have to worry about competition or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think it says it all right there. If you're gonna enter as a competition, I think the work ethic has to be a lot different. And I think that's what a lot of my dancers at the time didn't understand. So it's kind of like, well, I thought we were just doing this for fun. But yeah, two people's like, no, well, we are doing this for fun. This is what we love to do. But if we're gonna do it, let's put something out. Let's put something amazing. Let's put our not just 100% of effort. Like let's go all out. And I think just meeting in the middle wasn't always easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it wasn't easy too, because we weren't we didn't have all the money. We weren't practicing in studios. We were practicing out in parking lots and church parking lots. We were practicing out in parks, and we've had to deal with rain. We've practiced out in the rain. We were like broke kids in college and trying to
build this whole thing up.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not easy, especially to get people committed, especially on a rainy day. Like, just imagine that. And we don't have a roof over our head. It's people would rather be doing something else than that, especially to have like two people like yell at you, or not necessarily yell, but like really, really push you to like your limits. Especially if you really want something so bad, we're just gonna work as hard as we can, and we would push ourselves to the limit too. But it's not easy to get everyone to be committed like that.
Yeah, but we are definitely grateful that they helped pave the way. If they didn't trust us.
Exactly, and people had to. And we've had, I think, don't get me wrong, like, nothing was really, really bad. It was a journey all in all, and the people that hated the moment and hated like the journey of it, by the end of it, it was fun, and it's something to remember, and it's something to laugh about. It's something to think about. It's something we've learned from. So the journey is really, really what it was all about, without even knowing it.
Yeah.
Because when we look back at like the videos you've made, like all those videos you made, like with us in Vegas or in different places like that,
Yeah, it makes the whole trip epic.
it makes the whole thing epic, and it makes you just want to go back and relive those moments, and we can only share it through YouTube.
Yeah. Now we can share our memories on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean that's just what it really it's become to.
Yeah. And a lot of, no, I'm not saying a lot because I don't know other leaders personally, but people can be so results oriented, but at the same time, but other people are, because my assumption is some people are just afraid that, like, they're so goal oriented that they can do things that may be harmful in the journey. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally.
So how do you balance keeping the goal in mind while doing things the proper way in terms of the process without having to burn bridges, without having to step on other people's toes, but how do you keep the goal in mind at the same time enjoy the process?
One, I think being honest with your dancers is a huge part of it. Communication is everything. So even if you need to communicate how you feel, whether you like something or don't like something, I think it's gonna be worth it, especially if you're trying to do something for the long run. And I don't know, like, I think other than being, like, if you're going to try to do something for the long run, you should definitely, I lost my train of thought. What are you talking about right now? You asked me this question.
How do you keep in focus, how do you balance, like, keeping the goal in mind, but not being so caught up that you lose sight of the journey?
I think it can all be simple. I think if you have the goal in mind, you have to learn how to be flexible. That's one thing. And originally, like, let's say at least in dance, like, if you started off loving what you're doing, enjoying what you're doing, then enjoy it. You're gonna have to go through some hardships. It sometimes when you have a cast, it can go all so easy, it can go so well, and life can be perfect. And then some days you're gonna have some cast members or even yourself like going through some rough ones. And I think it's just how you deliver everything and how you say everything, especially with the people you're working with. If you're the artist and you're having people work with you, especially like right now, like a lot of it is your friends. It starts off with a lot of it is just your friends, and you gotta make sure that you're helping them too, and you're making it fun for them. Because I think if it's the work ethic is just like hard all the time, then some people are not gonna enjoy that.
Yeah.
And some people do. I'm a person that likes that, you know what I mean? But people are just different. And if you really, really know your friends or know the cast you're going to be working with, I think it would be good to be sensitive about how they work as well.
Yeah.
And you got to make sure that other than just spoon feeding them, you get your point across too. I think it's really how you communicate.
Yeah. I got two questions in my mind. I'm trying to get which one I want to get. How important? Because we took on a lot of the responsibility on our own early on, but how important is it now to be able to share your responsibility with others? Because now this year you're doing something different in terms of shared responsibility, in terms of building the routine, building the team, and whatnot. How important is that? Aside from taking it on our own.
Very important. I feel like the reason I feel like it's important to have help is because doing things on your own is just it gets pretty hard. It gets a little lonely. It gets stressful. And if you're on a team, that's just what it really, really is. There is no I in team. And I think during when we first had started, it's like I think a big trust issue comes into play. It's like, do I trust these people? Do I trust these dancers? And when it's your team, you have a certain vision that you want to come across, and that's kind of what it is. It's like you have this vision and you want to make sure like it gets done a certain way. But I think as leaders we forget what our dancers want to. And if you definitely want to get to the end process, you should have a fine line of what you want and how you're going to get there. I think it's better because when we first had started this, we wanted to start like we would make jokes about making an empire. We made jokes about like having like our junior team or doing like we thought so big about it, but it can't just work with two people. And what it is, like, life is gonna happen. We're gonna get older, and I think leaders forget to train new leaders, and I think that's just what it is. I don't know if ego comes to play. I think part of it, trust issues come to play in it. But if you can trust your dancers and you can put your ego aside, and really, if you really want something to go for a long run, and if you're real, or if you're a real leader, I feel like you need to train the future. You need to teach the future, and you need to give them an outlet to do what they want to do too, because that's how you're going to stay relevant, especially if you want something to grow.
Yeah. Two questions. How do you deal with, because I know that sometimes our own egos can get in the way. How do you deal with your ego, and how do you deal with other people's egos in terms of the team?
For me, I just do my best to make sure that I look at myself in the end of the day, if I'm doing it and it's coming from the right place. And I think it's good to ask a lot of people of how you're doing, just because you never know. You never know if you're doing a good job, a bad job, or, because you might be caught up in doing something the way you want to do it, but you forget if like you're really meeting everyone else's expectations. Staying hungry is one of it, staying motivated, and I think for me, like I said, like leading through example is like always the best way, especially as a leader. Monkey see, monkey do, and I think they'll just, if you do it, you push hard, and you do things for the right way, they'll just follow you. And to deal with egos and my personal ego, I think there's a right time to be confident in yourself, and there's a time to just humble yourself and take in what's going on. Mm-hmm. And as far as dealing with other people's egos, I think it just depends on how well you really know the person, mm-hmm. and what's their purpose of why they're on the team. If they're there for competition, if they're there to kick it, or if they're there to make a name for themselves. I think as a leader, if you can get to know that person, see where they're coming from, it's definitely going to help. I don't think there's anything wrong with being confident at all, but I think it's just you have to do it at the right times.
Yeah. Well, building a team is important, but it's or even more important because it all comes down to, like, we can't do this whole thing on our own. Like, whatever passion, whatever dream or goal that we want, we're not going to be able to exactly do it alone 100% of the way, because we're going to need someone's help. And we're going to need those those all-star players to help us along the way. How do you approach getting the type of people you want to support you along the way?
I think the best way to do is really putting yourself out there. You got to be a little vulnerable to a lot of things. I don't know how gung-ho, like, it takes, how much you really need to be gung-ho about everything. But I think having that set of mentality of, like, if you can really do it, if you really want to work with these people, or all it takes is just one question. All it takes is one email. I think it's just how you approach it. But definitely you can't do things alone. And as you get older, you want to say, well, as I got older and I think about it, I was like, I want to be successful. I want to do things for me. I want to do this. I want to do that. But you really can't do things alone. And whether you ask your homie or you ask someone else, especially when it's in the entertainment business, I feel like everything is networking.
Yeah. And
I think that's what it really is. So if it's just how you present yourself, as how professional you really are, and how much you're willing to put yourself out there, especially if it's for something you really love.
Yeah, that's what I think some people get scared, is I have this amazing vision or something I want to create, but it's that fear of if I put myself out there, I'm going to be judged, or if I put myself out there, how am I going to handle the criticism, or how am I going to handle that? Like, I think that's some of the things. It's just generally fear. But what I guess one of the questions I want to ask you is what's your vision? Like overall, like in terms of your overall life.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. I'm enjoying myself right now, especially when I dance. It's kind of crazy. I don't know where I see myself in life right now, as far as in the future, but maybe doing the same things I'm doing now, maybe not dancing as hard, because I mean my body's gonna deteriorate. But as being a director right now, what I see is the talent that's around me. I see them doing big things. I see them dancing for stars. I see them leading my teams. I see them leading their own teams, and I forget sometimes I'm teaching like 5-year-olds, I'm teaching 6-year-olds, and it's crazy. Like one day, you never know, like if they'll become teachers one day, like dance teachers or maybe a school teacher, if my kids will be there. And that's what I envision, like someone I've helped out and paved the way for them and taught them another outlet in life other than doing something horribly wrong and doing something that's good. And if I've made that effect on someone, I would love to see what the end process is. I would love to see how they grow up and where they come from in the end, because everyone has their own journey, everyone has their own story. And every day I work with people, every day I get to teach dance and do what I love to do, and I'm just surrounded by so many people, and I just want to see everyone succeed. And I feel like as a teacher and instructor and director, I feel like that's important to do everything you can to help guide them. So I think that's more of my vision, at least right now. At this moment, I'm learning how to take life at like one step at a time, really living in the moment, and that's how I feel like right now. Is just I want everyone around me successful, because I feel like that's how I'm gonna be successful in the end, and they can come back and say thank you, even if I'm not the one in the spotlight, because I helped them. Because there's been a lot of people that helped me along the way, and I don't even know if they even know like they've helped me, whether it was like good or bad, whether it's just how I react to it, I guess. And people have definitely helped me get where I am till this day. So that's where I see it. I see in the future seeing everyone around me being successful, whether they're with me or not with me. But I can like officially say I've done something to help you or paved the way for you.
That bouncing back on that, I remember like how people have affected you, positive or good or bad, but either way it's a lesson. I remember Jet, when I battled him, he didn't know that he affected me in a way, but that one time we battled and he made fun of me during the battle.
Equinox?
Yeah, at Equinox. he didn't know that. He doesn't even remember that. Like, but I told him during the interview that made me a huge impact on really humbling me as a dancer. I'm like, oh wow, that he didn't. So it's like one of those things. Like every experience, or so good or bad, is something that can lead up to it, and people make an impact on us whether we know it or not. And so vice versa, we make impact on others whether we know it or not. And so it sounds like your vision at this very moment in time that you want to set others up to win.
Yes.
So, and that sounds like that's gonna be one hell of a legacy that you leave.
I mean, when I grew up, I grew up with a lot of people, like good influences and bad influences. I think I have done some crazy things in my life. I got myself in trouble a lot. But I don't think I've always had the best role models around me. And I think that's what we need nowadays, especially now that I'm a leader now. And I want to make sure that I do help people, and I especially the kids, the young ones. That's what's important about me the most, is that when they're in the adolescent stage, it's like, what are you teaching them?
Yeah.
I think what's like huge for me is like when the first thing I do when I start my dance class, especially with my my peewees, I tell him, I sit him down, and then the first thing I say is not even dance related. I ask him about school and education. I was like, tell me one thing you remembered in school. And the funniest thing for me is when they go, math. And I'm like, don't tell me a subject. Tell me one thing you learned. And it's the funniest. You always get the craziest answers because they're kids. You know what I mean? And they really say the darndest things. So like, you never know what you're gonna get from them. And I think my main goal is to remind them that if you want to, especially like if you want to be in a career where I'm doing right now, like in dance, you want to make sure that you're smart about it, because there's things that we've gone into this blind, not knowing what we're doing. We love to do it. We're just gonna
go for it anyway.
Go for it anyway, but not knowing there's other opportunities, there's other outlets of dance. Whether you want to go industry or community, join another team, join a project, start concept videos.
Yeah, it's like blown up.
It's blown up, and we never even thought of doing that. It's like, oh my God, this is genius. When really it takes a camera to just do it, and I think if you want to do it, you definitely have to be smart about it, and if you can teach them that at a young age, it's definitely going to help them a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I had a question. Oh, where do you think you'd be now if it weren't for dancing?
Where honestly, I think I would probably be in jail or something, or doing something not dance related. If not jail, then I don't know what I would be doing, but it would be the complete opposite of what I am doing right now. So I can totally vouch for that.
What impact did dance have on you, like this passion of yours?
Yeah, like growing up, I didn't have the best role models. I hung out with like a lot of teenagers when I was barely in junior high, so I would just be getting in trouble, like ditching school, just doing a lot of bad things. And when I was introduced to the drill team, it was just a whole different lifestyle, and it definitely I stopped hanging out with a lot of like people that would always get in trouble. I stopped surrounding myself with like negative people, and it definitely just took me a whole different route, and it was easy. It wasn't forced. Dance wasn't forced. It was just another way for me to express how I was feeling. I mean, music has always been huge in my life in general, so I mean, a bad day, put on some Eminem. You know what I mean? A good day, put on some Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like, you never know, like, how life is going to treat you. You're feeling like it's a rainy day, maybe some Linkin Park, if not some Jack Johnson. You know what I mean? Like, music has definitely, like, done a lot for me. And to find dance within it has made my life so much more interesting. Mm-hmm. And I think getting introduced into a competitive dance team, it gave me a reason to feel like I was still doing sports, because I grew up thinking I was either going to be a professional skateboarder or I was going to play basketball or something. I'm not tall enough, but I thought I was going to be playing sports or an extreme sport, and I was just really active growing up, and that's what I thought I was going to do. And then finding dance, definitely it just gave me life. It gave me a whole new meaning to live, and it was just fun, and I had so much fun that I'm still having fun this day.
Yeah.
But now I'm getting paid for what I love to do, and I'm doing everything for a good cause. I like to believe so.
So it sounds like one of the huge driving factors is having that bigger reason why.
Yeah, definitely.
So, because there's find your passion, and then if it's not, it's one thing to find it, but then I think it sounds like the reason behind it is much more important, aside from finding it, right? So once you find it, you got to find what's gonna keep you going, because I mean, it's not every day. We're not gonna be like I said, we're not gonna be loving life every day when we have our passion. There's gonna be days where, like, I don't feel like I want to live my passion today. I don't feel like living my highest potential today. There's gonna be those moments, but then
Yeah.
going back to what you're saying is of always knowing why you're doing it. What's our why, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I remember first starting Bambiz. Like one of the hugest reasons like why was like what I saw us, we could possibly become, like the waiting 3 hours at a church parking lot and no one showing up, and then like the one thing that kept me, like as much as that hurt, like people flaking, like the one thing that kept me going was that vision of seeing us on stage, like multiple stages, and just being huge. That's one thing. Like, and then a saying that I kept saying to myself, the first 3 years of any business is the hardest. And like it's not a business, but that sort of calmed me. Like it's okay. I keep going. You gotta keep going. That still yeah, that was a huge why. Like I guess that vision of what we could be. Otherwise, if I didn't go and if I didn't keep going, I know it wasn't gonna happen. So then, I mean, what were your, when you faced doubts, like what I guess what triggered those kind of doubts, and how did you break through them?
People leaving, coming and going from teams without giving us the reasons why they left.
Yeah.
Kind of just stopped coming. You want to know why. You want to know the reason why they left, and that's only going to make you better if you know the reasons why and something you can fix. A lot of it too is if us as leaders were really listening to, because some dancers do tell us the whys at the moment, and we might be so clouded with like our own judgment that we forget to just stop and listen.
Yeah.
And I think that plays a huge role in that types of situation. And for me to keep the drive going, just having a big imagination. And it's thinking about it, it's like I was introduced to like dance teams like Kaba Modern, Pac Modern. Those were the first teams I see. Team Millennia, and you couldn't even find it. It wasn't even YouTube. Like you had to go on. I would go on Pac Modern and then download it, go on linked files, and find Gen 2, find different like dance teams like people that were like didn't really know about.
Oh, yeah.
And then get inspired that way. And I just felt like you either start something or be a part of something.
Yeah, I think that's what sort of motivated me.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know if J. Chris had used that.
J. Chris.
He's used that many times. But like I forgot what, when he first used that, and it definitely sparked something in my head. And I was like, it's either you start something
or you
be a part of something. And I kind of did a little bit of both. I mean, I was selfish in my own type of way when it came to dance. Like I wanted to get good training. At the same time, I wanted to be a leader. And I think that's what kept my drive going, is that there's so much more we can do with dance in itself.
Yeah, I remember seeing the Team Millennium video. I don't know what video, but it was the one with the glow sticks.
Oh yeah, I think it was like their 10th year anniversary this year, or something like that, or 20th. I don't know, but we just went and they redid the whole set, and that was by far like Danny, you're amazing. Like that was really cool to see that legacy, and then to actually watch it live. Seeing like current members and old members dancing again, and just being a fan in general of the dance community, because that paved the way for what I'm doing till this day. Other than just Glendale High and Joe Team, like I've had to watch all the collegiate stuff and find a way to either go to the show or watch it on online, and it was
before YouTube,
and then it just became an addiction, almost like an obsession with dance. But how can you hate it when it's so entertaining? And that's what kept me going, is that I can be that person one day. And I want to be the person that can do it, and I want to be the person that has friends along the way, and we did it together. Because doing things alone is just, I feel like once you're at the top, who do you share it with?
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty lonely on the top, and we bring others with us.
I mean, I wouldn't really know what the top is, because I still look up to so much other people, and I don't know what it is or how it would even feel like for me to even say that, but one day I feel like I would love to accomplish that and look back at my past in history and say I did that.
Yeah.
And not regret it.
What's your greatest fear?
My greatest fear, I think, is just being alone.
Yeah.
Being alone scares me, whether it's relationship wise, friends wise, family wise. Like, I'm so addicted to people that it scares me to be alone. I don't want to. I don't know if this is morbid, but like the day I die, I want to make sure that it's not just my immediate family members. I hope that the whole world's there.
Yeah.
And that's what I wish I can do, just to impact lives like that, and to leave to leave my name, whether it's in dance or in something else, but to leave my own type of legacy, or people can go back and say something good. And if I were to die now or die tomorrow, like later in the future, I would hope that there's a lot of people there.
Yeah.
For all the good reasons.
That's a good one. All right. What would yourself, like now, Marc Miranda of now, what would you say to the Marc Miranda of like 10 years ago? The one piece of advice.
Ooh, that's a hard one. I gotta think about this one too. There's a lot of things I would like to tell myself in the past.
Or 3 things. I'm gonna bend the rules here. I normally go with 1, but 3 things.
Don't ditch school. I think that's 1. White lies are still lies. And family comes first. I think I get caught up in like so many things that I'm doing that I forget about my family. I forget about the people that has given me a roof over my head. And I'm trying so hard to be successful or do everything in my life for myself that I forget who put me on this planet and who gave me these talents.
Yeah.
So giving back to my family is a huge thing. I would definitely tell myself in my past.
I mean, we were only like 25, right? 24, 25. I think a lot of people still view us young. We learned a lot along the way.
Yeah.
You know, right? So it's like pretty much telling your teenage self. And I mean, sorry, you know when to cut this when I pause like this. Elaborate on what do you call it? Because I remember, like I said, like I lost sight of my own family, and that led me to a pretty crappy place. And then it's like that. I kind of grew that more out of anything. It's always having family in mind. And even though we may not always see eye to eye, I mean, they're there. And some people may believe differently, but I guess being our team, family, business, family is important to us. And then, yeah. Well, aside from that, like, what are you currently working on?
What am I currently working on right now?
Yeah, the project. What are you currently working on?
Right now I'm getting my teams ready for upcoming competitions. Urban Street Jam is our next one for family business. The next one for junior hit list is CAR. That's called Kids Artistic Revenue. That's what it is, Kids Artistic Revenue. They're going to be competing there this Saturday. That's what my current teams is working on. I am also dancing with Baby Makers, so we are currently getting ready for Urban Paradise up in San Francisco, and Wild Ones is also going to Urban Street Jam. That's coming up like in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it is.
That's what I'm currently doing with my dance teams. What I'm currently doing in my life right now is just on my downtime to read more often.
Sorry.
Like, I don't read. He knows I don't read. Everyone that's watching this, everyone knows. Like,
growing up with him, he did not read.
I didn't read. I didn't do
still have
anything.
that,
I just wanted to kick it, have fun. On top of having fun.
That's right, because that I think it was only like about a year and a half ago that I saw you have a book, and this trips me out. It's not that I'm like, I guess I laugh at it because it's not that because I'm trying to be a douche. But it's like, wow, he's taking his game to a whole new level because it's like if we want to take our game to the next level, we got to invest in our minds.
Exactly, and I feel like growing up, like I had the biggest ego. In my opinion, like I had my moments where I'm just like, I'm so confident in myself. I'm like, nah, I don't need a book. I can do life without it. And that's just me being ignorant to education itself. And if you're not going to go to school to educate yourself in that way, at least educate yourself.
Yeah.
And I support it. I mean, it's so easy to support, but I'm doing everything I can to find time to read more often. It's been helping, especially like dance vocabulary, talking to people. And there's gonna be a wide range of people that I'm gonna be talking to, especially in this playing field, I guess. And I want to make sure that I can connect with them any way possible. Okay. Right now, I'm currently working on all my dance videos, my dance concept videos. We just shot one.
Yeah.
Yes, last night. No, Friday. It's Sunday.
Friday night.
We just shot one recently. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. A couple of my homies and homegirls. We shot at an apartment. That was cool. And that's what I'm doing right now. Is just working on my portfolio. I think something that I'm doing different is that my logo is now like a CD cover. It's like everything that I do is coming out like a mixtape. So within the whole year, it's gonna be a compilation of like all my dance videos, and that's what you're gonna get as if I was an artist, as if I was an artist, yeah, music artist, like a rapper or singer, and that's how I'm expressing my art.
That's
but
cool.
other than just saying it through words and being a poet, I'm actually just doing it through someone else's music and just making it come to life a whole different way.
That's cool. I think it's really well. You mentioned about networking, the whole industry, like, or in just general when it comes to getting our goals. We said we can't do this on our own. We gotta somehow meet other people, and that takes a lot of really stepping out of our comfort zone. And like, what's your process of just getting out of your own comfort zone?
I don't know what my real process of getting out of my comfort zone. I think it's just, if you're there to learn, let's say if you're going to come into dance class, if you're there to learn, just go in there and learn and just listen to the instructor and just come out there not worrying about your surroundings of who's around you and whatnot. I think it's just being a student. And I think once you had told me like living in the moment is very, very important in life, that's definitely helped me a lot to just be more confident in what I'm doing and not to just doubt myself. I mean, everything's going to be scary, whether it's your first rehearsal or your first time going into something. But if you know all the reasons why you're doing it, it should definitely soothe the transition of going into what you're about to be doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying like as long as you know why you're doing it and you're really connected with what your purpose is, there's no reason to like it's gonna be scary, but it's no reason to just play it small.
Yes. If you're gonna do something, I say go 100%, do your best. There's nothing wrong with doing your best. There really, really isn't, because that's the efforts you're giving, and you can't knock yourself for doing your best.
Yeah.
So do it. Nike, just do it. But definitely,
nice little plug in there.
As simple as it is, that's just what you have to do, though. You just gotta say yes and just do it.
Yeah.
So.
All right. One question I ask everyone towards the end of every episode is, what's one thing that's driving you to do what you do now?
One thing that's driving me to do what I do now is all my teams. I can't really say one thing, but all my teams, because I feel like as a leader, a lot of people are looking up to me and depending on me to deliver and it keeps pushing me every day because if you're a leader, I feel like you have to keep pushing yourself. You shouldn't just be a leader and just stop right there. I feel like you have to be a student. You have to get your butt in class. You have to lead through example. And you can learn so much in dance itself or in life itself, but as far as for dance, you can keep learning. There's always another style. There's always a new dance. There's someone else you can learn from. And for me, I feel like what keeps me going is the people around me, the support, and how much people are depending on me to always be on my A game and to guide them to victory. I think that's a huge part of it. My family, my mom, huge part of it. A lot of people don't. When it comes to dance, it's not easy. It's especially living from paycheck to paycheck. It's not easy, especially if you want to live your dream. But being persistent and being patient, I think, plays a lot. And I'm finding myself to be very, very happy in my life at the moment.
Good.
And I feel like a lot of people struggle with that. I have a couple people that I do know that they make a lot of money, or they're making more money than I am, at least at the moment. But like, I always hear about their days, and they're so upset with their days, and I can't picture my life being like that.
Yeah. And
I mean, I guess it's just how you're growing up. It's how you grew up and what you like to do. But for me, personally, I want to, at the end of the day, I want to be happy, and I want to make sure I'm doing it for me and everyone around me.
Yeah. It just goes to show that happiness isn't exactly 100% connected with money.
Yeah, no, definitely.
No.
It's not because you can share moments with friends and family members, and those are moments it is priceless, and you can't do that with money. I mean, obviously you can do a lot with money, and that's just what the life we live, but that's not important.
Yeah.
In my opinion, so.
Alright, where can people find you online to connect with you?
Facebook. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
I'll put that all in the show notes because you have like a billion different handles. So boom, that's it. Thanks for hopping on the show today. That's it for Profiles in Drive. Hope you guys enjoyed the content today. I'll have everything we mentioned on the show notes right down below. If you like the video, make sure you hit like, subscribe, share this with a friend who you think might benefit from it. Head on over to the blog, share your wisdom, share your own thoughts, and yeah, make sure you hit up Marc on his YouTube channel. Check out all the videos, his mixtapes, everything mixtapes as in his dance. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Alright, thank you. Thanks for having me, man.
No problem, dude.
Appreciate it.
Alright, now we're gonna choreo.
My name is Jesus, and I like bananas in my pajamas.
I see you as my peer, and it's like, oh my god, I was your teacher once, and it's like, flashback.
Yeah.
I feel old. No, but just to have shared something with you that I learned is pretty awesome. So especially it's a really